What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Run It Up podcast. I'm your host, Najee Adams. I got my guy with me today, Khalil Baker. How you doing, bro?
I am doing well, man. How are you doing?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling. How was your day?
Uh, I didn't go to work until I'm supposed to be at work anywhere between 8 and 9. I didn't go to work till like probably 11, 10:30, something like
Damn,
that.
damn.
Yeah, I had a couple of visits. I work in admissions, so I had a couple visits with families, and then I took the rest of the afternoon off after that and just like did some podcast prep and stuff. So it was a good day. It was cool. Went to the gym for a quick hour session, try to get in a little bit, and did some more prep, and here we are.
Wow, I love that for you, bro. My day
Yeah.
was a little bit less productive. I woke up, had some coffee, and then I did something. Oh, I went to go get my dad a birthday card because his birthday's on Sunday. So, shout out to my pops, 64. My dad and my girlfriend have the exact same birthday, so both their birthdays are on Sunday. So shout out to both of them. And then I came back, we went to dinner, prepped for the pod a little bit, and now here we are. It was a pretty
It
chill
sounds
day for me
it
because I,
sounds
didn't- I didn't
productive though.
I didn't have work today, so I was chilling. I did a couple work meetings and whatnot, like just for stuff I had to be in, but I didn't actually do any real work. So, it's always a good day. Um,
It
but
sounds like
yeah,
a good day though. Productive. It's a little bit productive though.
yeah, we was chilling. It's all good.
Yeah.
It was like a little rest day. But yeah, today should be a pretty chill pod. It's just we're recapping last weekend's games, the conference finals. I always want to say conference finals, conference championship games. Gonna talk the Lions, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Niners, and then give a small little Super Bowl preview. We're not gonna give our picks until next week. Make y'all wait for it, feel me? But we're gonna talk about it just a little bit. Um, and yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the pod anywhere that you're listening to it. If you're listening to it like the audio version, wherever you're listening to it, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating and review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, like, share it with your friends, your family, all that cool stuff. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. Follow us on TikTok at the Run It Up Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Najianos underscore, Khalil at below 44, and Justice at J Reed underscore. Yeah, you see, I didn't give the question mark
I'm
after.
impressed. I'm
Yeah,
impressed.
thank you. Before we get into stuff, let me go through song of the week. I think I started first last week. So what's yours, bro?
What do I want to do? I made this playlist a long time ago. It's just like my all-time favorites. It's like 90 something songs in it right now. So I've just been like going through that. But there's like I guess there's one song that I've been listening to a lot of. It's been a Drake song.
Mm.
Like a lot. It's from For All the Dogs. It's Drew Picasso.
Ooh, that's a great
Yeah,
song.
tough
That's a
song.
great song. It's a great song. See, it's always a good day. That's how I know it's gonna be a good pod when I know Khalil's song of the week. I have actually heard it before. So Joe Picasso, incredible song, great ass album too. I was also almost gonna pick a Drake song, but then I realized I kind of picked a Drake song last week with the feature. So I'm actually gonna go with a little New York artist. You feel me? It's by Kyle Rich. It is called Trick. Um, it's a little New York drill beat kind of vibe.
Okay,
So, if you want to it's a good gym song though. Get you a little hype. But
I'm all for that.
so yeah, Kyle Rich Trick. That's going in my song of the week. It'll be in the description, as you guys typically know. If you check the bottom of the description, it's always down there. So go check it out. And yeah, I guess we can just dive on into it.
Let's do it.
Recapping conference championship games. I guess we'll start with, even though the schedule was kind of weird. Like I figured that they would do the AFC Mahomes Lamar game last, but it was the first game of the day. Not gonna be the first one we talk about here though. 49ers Lions. The Niners ended up winning 34-31. In my personal opinion, absolute coaching malpractice by Dan Campbell. I know that has been a hot button issue after the game. Was it the right decision to kick? I mean, to not kick, to go for it. You can't judge the decision based on the outcome, whatever you want to say. Me personally, I wasn't a fan of it. But go ahead, Khalil. I want to know your thoughts on the 49ers amazing comeback over the Lions.
To talk about a little bit about the point you just made about the coaching malpractice part. Um, Even when they went for it. I get what was it, 4th and 3? Was it?
I
I
think
think
they went one time it was 4th and 2, the other time it was 4th and 3.
so. The one time was in the first half, right? If I'm
Yeah,
not
it
mistaken.
was no,
And they kicked it. Oh, no,
it was
yeah,
the first drive of the second half.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the first half field goal. So like, there's one situation where it was right before halftime. It was like fourth and goal. It was 4th and goal, maybe like 3, 4 away from the end zone, and they went for a field goal instead of going for it. And I was actually quite surprised. Just like, they have a reputation for going for it. They're pretty aggressive. I think at halftime he said something like it was just a little bit too far away for us. But I was still just surprised by the decision. And then skip to the second half, and they have multiple decisions where they're just going for it on 4th down, where I think if you go for it on 4th down right before half and you have a chance to make it 28-7 instead of 24-7, I just feel like that's like it's like very close to nail in the coffin, type of stuff. Like I think that's when you go for the juggler at that point. I understand going for points. I'm usually the type of person where, go for the points, get your situation, just get your points out the way. But I was really surprised by their decision. I probably would have went for it in that situation there. But skipping to the second half in those situations, like it's tough, man. Especially when you have a chance to go up. What was it, 27? What did they have a chance to go up to? I'm trying to remember.
So that first one that they didn't take, it was 6:58 left in the third.
Yeah,
The Lions scored on they all right, so it was 6:58 left in the third. They were on the 49ers 28-yard line. It was 4th and 2. They decided to go for it instead of kicking the field goal. That would have put them back up 17 because the Niners
yeah.
had just drove down, kicked the field goal. They led by 17 at half. Third quarter starts. Lions drive down, kick the field goal. It's a 14-point lead. It's like I said, 6:58 left in the third. The Lions have the ball. They get down to the 49ers 28-yard line. 4th and 2. They have the opportunity to put it back to a 17-point lead. Keep in mind, they ended up losing by 3. They
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they they have the opportunity to make it a 17-point lead again. They opt to go for it on 4th and 2. Josh Reynolds. I mean, listen, Josh Reynolds drops the ball
Tough.
and they give the ball back. Now, I was somebody had hit me on Twitter and was like, "Listen," because I said that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, I'm like, momentum is such a real thing in sports, and like people, analytics guys, refuse to be like, "Oh yeah, momentum's not real. Momentum's not real." Momentum is real. I'm sorry. Like it was a long drive too. Like the Niners
Yeah,
took their time to get down the field. The Lions then, got down there in a decent amount of time. Like to take all that time off the clock and still be at the same place you were when the half started, like that's mentally draining on the Niners. But in their head, it's like, oh, we just stopped them on 4th down, 14-point game,
it's
uh,
tough.
a quarter and a half. Like, oh, we're this is easy. So like, I get that the Lions have gone for it notoriously throughout the season. I get that their kicker, Riley Patterson, was injured and they were going with Michael
Badgley.
Badgley. I understand Dan Campbell might not have had that much faith in him. 28-yard line to put you back up 17. I'm taking the field goal every time. And I know people are like, yo, you can't judge it based on the outcome because if Josh Reynolds catches that, okay, one, I'm not drawing up a 4th down play to Josh Reynolds. Not happening. Two, I'm sorry. I get it. He's been fine for the season. I'm not doing it. Two, like as a coach, like situational football is so incredibly important. Like this is no longer the regular season. Your franchise has never ever been to a Super Bowl. And you're deciding to, play a little bit of 4th down games rather than just kick the field goal. Like I get it. I get that you might not have had trust in your kicker. Your offense was really killing the Niners for a lot of that first half. You
Yeah,
feel like, all right, we're gonna come out and get this 4th down. But like in that situation, when you have the opportunity to put the lead back to where it started, and when the half closes, like I just don't understand how you don't take it. Like It's just like in my opinion, and I've said all year, like the fourth, you could go back to that game when they went 4-4 against the Cowboys. Like I was like, all right, this is dumb. Like this is just stupid. Like there's no reason to do this. Like you're just overthinking what you need to do in the situation. I don't care what the analytics say. Kick the fucking field goal. Like it's not that difficult. Until like it's not like my opinion has changed throughout the year. I've said all year I'm not a fan. Like I get you have to go for it sometimes on fourth down. But like in no situations, like you have to coach situationally. Like there's no need to be ultra aggressive in a game that is like monumental for your franchise when you have the opportunity to like bury the Niners in a game that you were big underdogs and you're already out talented. Like they already have more talent than you. So like the fact that like you're in this situation is already good to begin with. Like don't play with the football gods here. Just kick the fucking field goal. But that's my thoughts on it.
All right, so all right, first half situation right before halftime, they go for the field goal. I don't agree with that decision. I actually wanted them to go for it. They
Mm-hmm.
went for the field goal. They go up 24-7. That's fine. That makes a lot of sense. Take the points. Like I like taking the points. If I was a coach, I would in a lot of situations, I'm taking the points right there. Let's just go up 24-7, go in a half, right? But I probably would have went for it in that situation. And then third quarter, like you said, what they're on the 28-yard line. 20-yard line is 4th and 2.
28. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably going for it right there too. If
Okay.
if I'm the Lions in that situation, I'm probably
That
gonna go
second
for it.
one though, the
I'm
second one,
the second
that's unforgivable.
the
I'm
second
sorry.
one. I'm screaming. I think I'm on my couch watching the game. I'm screaming. Take the points. Take the
It's to
points.
tie the
Tie the
game.
game. Tie the notch. Take the points and tie the game. Like I'm
It's to
screaming
tie
on
the
my
game.
couch. Like, what are you doing? Like, I know it's a 48-yard field goal at that point. We already talked about it. You got Badgley out there who's been fine for them. I think he's only missed like 2 extra points for them this year. But other than that, he's hit every other field goal. I think in that situation, watching some other podcasts and stuff, they talked about he hasn't hit a field goal outside in those circumstances since 2020 COVID year, which is a very long time, but he's been kicking field goals since then. Like it's not like the weather's like a huge talking point before the
Yeah.
game. Like it's not like it's a
We're
big
in San
decision there.
Francisco.
Like
You know, like
it's fine. Like it's okay. Like
yeah.
he like 48 field goal, 48-yard field goal. It's a long distance. I get it, but like you have a chance to tie the game. It's
Then why
not
is
like
bro on the roster then? Like,
it,
like come on. Like,
that happen. It happens a lot, especially with kickers we've seen recently. Like it's just he's not your guy. You don't trust him a whole bunch, but why is he on the roster? What is he here for? I guess to kick extra points and just do it
to
that way.
tie the game,
I
Khalil,
know, I
in
know,
the fourth quarter?
I know. I would have went for the points in that situation because then going back to your point about it being you giving the 49ers a chance to get back more momentum. It's fourth down and they get a stop when they're up what 3 at that point,
Yeah.
and second half they
After
come
they
out
just
different.
came back from 17.
Exactly. And in the second half, they already have all the momentum. They changed up their game plan. They're a little bit more aggressive. Brock Purdy's doing a lot better. Like they're on a roll right now at this point. So like I don't know. And I think it just gives yourself a better chance. And judging it by how the second half had went, like they're gonna go down and probably score again. And then it's gonna be a 2 possession game at that point. But I feel like if you give yourself the chance
That's
to get those
exactly what
it
happened.
yeah, give yourself a chance to get those 3 points, and if they score a touchdown, guess what? All you need is a touchdown just to tie it up in that point. But if you miss that field goal or don't get the 4 point conversion, then at that point, and they go down and score 2 possession game, it's just more hoops to jump through at that point. More hoops to jump through.
And that's
Take your
literally
points.
exactly what happened, bro. They don't convert. The 49ers come down, get a touchdown. The Lions then also come and get it. Like they decided not to kick that with 7:32 left in the fourth. So I'm sure they figured like, oh, we'll just get a stop. The Lions have just scored 17 unanswered. Like you think you're getting you think you're getting to stop? And so they Niners go down and score. The Lions come back and score. And then they have to onside kick. George Kittle gets it, I think, and then that's the game. Like you kick that field goal, they come down, score, you come down, score. Most likely we're going to OT and you got a shot. Like, but not taking that field goal to tie a game is a mind blowing to me. Like,
I think it puts a lot of pressure on your defense at that point. Like you're putting a lot of pressure on your defense. If you kick that field goal, hit the field goal, pressure goes back on 49ers. They have to respond. They have to keep it going. They have to do what they've been doing. But I feel like if you miss the fourth down conversion at that point, you put so much pressure on your defense to get a stop when they have not gotten a stop. And even if you look at the first half, like 49ers were doing fine. I know they only scored 7 points. I know, I get it, but they've had some drives where they were moving the ball and the Brock Purdy threw an interception. They missed a field goal, I think, on their first drive. Like there were some times where
Yeah,
they're
Jake
moving the
Moody
ball.
shanked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like they had to work for their drives, of course. Like they had to really work for it and really drive down the field. But like, I just feel like you just put so much pressure on your defense, and it's not a talented defense as it is. I think they had a really good game plan. I think Aaron Glenn had a lot of good, like a lot of tendency breakers out there against the 49ers. They had the scheme going. They were pretty prepared. It was a well coached game, but you put so much stress and pressure on a defense that's not that talented against an offense that has weapons galore everywhere and an all awesome offensive play caller. So I just feel like you're really stacking the deck against your defense at that point.
No, I totally agree. I just think like as a head coach, your job is to make the tough decisions. And like I think Dan Campbell just made the wrong call.
Yeah.
Like there's no need to be I get that's your team identity. There's no need to be ultra aggressive in those situations where you're like at that point you're just trying to tread water. You're just trying to stay alive. Like your team is already back against the wall. You've given up a 17-point lead, decided to not kick a field goal to put it back to 17. Jameer Gibbs fumbles, like that's heartbreaking. Like
A lot.
that is crushing as a team. Like everything is going against you at that point. It's like granted, maybe you missed the field goal.
You
That's
might.
also that's also a possibility. I'm not gonna sit here and act like Michael Badgley from 48 is
It's money.
automatic. It's automatic. We don't got Justin Tucker out here. But like I would still rather give myself the chance. Like, I'm sorry, I get it. Like, I really do. The Lions offense all year has been prolific in those fourth down situations. They've been the most aggressive team on fourth down. So, like, you feel like in those situations, that's what got you there. So you can't go away from it. But like, you got to take into account what's been going on in this game. Like, we have not been successful on these fourth down attempts. The Niners are rolling. Our rookie fucking running back, his soul is just crushed. Like, we need some points. We
Yeah.
got to get some points. So
You can't catch a football. You're fumbling. I think at some point, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, before the half, Jared Goff misses a touchdown. Like he missed some throws, or he just didn't make some throws. Like he had Gibbs in the end zone for a touchdown and just kind of fell flat. Like so many things have to be perfect. I feel like, um, especially like if Jared Goff is your quarterback, like so many things have to be perfect, and a lot did not go well for them in the second half. I think as a head coach, of course, like you said, your identity is to be aggressive, put belief in your players, put belief in your offense. I think in situations like that, it does a couple of things, but one thing is you don't put a lot of belief in your defense at that point. I feel like going for that field goal uh, takes some pressure off of them, and actually, if you hit the field goal, of course, but it takes pressure off of them, of course. But you have to think situationally. What puts my team in the best situation to succeed here? So of course, it's your identity. But you also have to have some balance in there and think this is situational football. I have to be aware. I have to do what's best for my team here. And of course, if he gets a fourth down there, it's a whole different game. Possibly a whole different game. But I just don't agree with that play call at the moment. And then even then, like I don't know what the play call was exactly. It looked like there was a chip. Gibbs chipped Bosa a little bit on that, but they got immediate pressure pretty quickly. Golf does not do well under pressure, has not done well under pressure against the 49ers, at least at that point. If he gets moved off his spot, if he's uncomfortable, he's most likely not going to make a play off that. 49ers are too athletic. So if you're fourth down, we got to have it. Jared Goff is my quarterback. I'm a little uncomfortable in that situation, especially being as far as ways you were. You're not on the 28-yard line like you were earlier, so it's a little bit different. They don't have to drive all the way down the field to get a touchdown or at least get in field goal position. So I don't know. I just feel like you put a lot of pressure in the wrong areas going forward on fourth down right there.
no, totally. And then, after the game, Dan Campbell keeps it honest. He says, like, he told his guys, like, this may be our only chance. Like, we may never get back here. Literally, only 4 teams make the conference finals every single year out of 32. Like, that is there's a decent chance that the Lions don't have the same season they did last year. I mean, well, yeah, I guess this year. Ben Johnson decides to stay. So that's massive for them.
Yeah.
Like he had the Washington interview, he had the Seahawks interview. I'm obviously on record saying that I wanted Ben Johnson to be our head coach. He was my number one option. Um, for whatever reason it might be, he took his interview with us. And then the next day, while the Commanders were on the flight to come meet with him, decided to pull out of the race for both head coaching jobs, which is nuts. Like you couldn't have shot them a text before they got on the plane. Like that's just insane. Apparent like I don't know what it is. There's a lot of rumors. Like there's rumors that he just wanted to come back, and like he said that he cited like the reason he wants to stay is to win a Super Bowl. Well, Lions haven't been the team to do that, so I don't know. Hey, all I'm saying is they never been to one. So if you want to stay with them over us, that's cool with me. Um, and then there's also other reports that were like, he just didn't interview well. I don't know what it is. Obviously, I'm not in those rooms. I have no clue. I think
Yeah.
to stay back to back years, like to have head coach jobs like offered to you and then like not take them in back to back seasons.
It's a bad look.
Apparently, it's a bad look. Like apparently he wanted like 15 million or whatever the fuck. Who cares what a coach wants? I don't care what a coach wants. That means nothing to me. But like I just feel like it is a little bit of a weird look. Like there's only 32 head coaching spots in the entire world for the NFL. And like they don't come open that often. Like apparently he wanted the Chargers job, right? Good luck beating out Jim Harbaugh. Like
Tough.
good luck
Poor
beating
guy.
out the national championship winner. But like I just don't know. Like if the Lion, like you just bet so much on you, like and like I get betting on yourself. I totally understand that. But like if the Lions offense is not as prolific next year, they don't have a great, like as great a season, your stock is insanely high right now.
Yeah.
The Lions decline and like you might not get these same offers again. So like to not take advantage of like your stock at its highest just seems kind of weird. But like there's a decent chance the Lions aren't as good next year. Like Jared Goff's on the last year of his deal next year, so they will probably have to extend him this season. Good luck paying Jared Goff big money. And like if I'm Jared Goff, I'm saying, listen, hey, we've been good since I've been here. That like our offense works with me here. I've been to a Super Bowl before, almost made it to two. Like I'm a proven QB. Like I have a better resume than a lot of starting guys in the league right now. So like I want some bread. And the Lions have to go for it next year. Like they can't afford to be like, nah, we're not paying you. We're gonna go with Hendon Hooker. Yeah, good luck. If I'm Jared Goff, good luck. Give me the bag. Like I think he has all the leverage in that situation. And then like their schedule will be much, much harder next year. I don't think people like really have talked about that. Like they are going to play a first place schedule next year. The divisions that they are going to play next year are going to be much more difficult. This year, they played the AFC West and NFC South. So the AFC West is Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers. Chiefs, obviously, they beat. Raiders are horrible. Broncos were not good. Chargers are horrible. That's 3 bad teams that they played this year in the AFC South. This year, oh, and they also play the NFC North, which is Bucks, Saints, Falcons. No, they played the NFC South, which is Bucks, Saints, Falcons, Panthers. 4 mid teams. Like
Yeah.
that, it's not hard to build a decent resume when you're playing the NFC South and the AFC West outside of the Chiefs. This season, they're playing next season, I guess, they're playing the AFC South and the NFC West, which is the AFC South is Texans, Jags, Colts, Titans. Texans are not a walk in the park. Jags, listen, I'm not a Jags guy, but like they've been relatively competitive since Trevor Lawrence has been there.
It's really
Colts,
who knows what you're gonna get from the Jags.
yeah, like Colts, Anthony Richardson. I love me some Anthony Richardson. That's a tough team. Titans, I think you guys are gonna have a decent year next year. Like you're not a walkover team, you know.
Yeah, historically a tough team, especially with Vrabel at the helm. We'll see what Callahan looks like in that team. They have a lot of good hires, but again, it's the Titans really good, still a decent roster, some things to improve on. Like it's not a walk in the park necessarily.
And then obviously the NFC West, one of, if not the toughest divisions in football, Seahawks, Niners, who are just beat them in the chip, so we're gonna have a rematch. Rams, who are always competitive under Sean McVay, and Cardinals, who should be better this year. Who knows? Might have Marvin
Yeah.
Harrison Jr. Who cares? Like
And
it's
then their division's getting better.
their division is good too. Like the Bears might have Caleb Williams, or if not, Justin Fields with a new offensive system.
And two first-round picks. Like it's like
And 2 first-round picks. You now have Jordan Love, who may or may not be a top 10 QB in the league. Like the Vikings also will probably get Kirk Cousins back. Like that's they're going to have tough ass games on their schedule. Like
Brian Flores at defensive coordinator. Like it's like, you got, Connell still calling the offense. Like it's just like it's gonna be tough next year, like you said. I agree with that for sure. You don't know what next season is gonna look like at all. Nothing's guaranteed, especially in the NFL. Um, you know, you could fall off a cliff next season and your stock goes down incredibly. Like we've seen it happen before. So like, nothing's guaranteed. And I do support betting on yourself, kind of like you mentioned earlier. Um, but I saw a tweet on Twitter. Someone said it's not Twitter's X, I guess, but someone said that he kind of missed his chance and probably won't get something else after this. 2 back-to-back seasons where you're not like you're saying no to people. It's not a good look, but we don't know. I feel like I was gonna ask you, like, what positions or teams do you think would be open? Like, need a coaching position. Like, what do you think could
I,
happen? And
I was
it's
thinking
hard to speculate, but
maybe the Jets. Like maybe he's holding
yeah,
out for that Jets job. But like, why would anyone hold out for a Jets job? Like that's it's not like that job is that like enticing. Cool, you come to New York, but who's your QB? Like if assuming the Jets fire their QB, the Aaron Rodgers thing didn't work. So like, I mean, assuming the Jets fire their coach, the Aaron Rodgers thing didn't work. So like, you come into New York with, I don't know, question marks at QB, Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, who have both like kind of hinted that like shit ain't that good here. Like we wouldn't be against, probably getting up out of here. So like, do you really want the Jets job? Like maybe the Ravens, like if the Ravens have a subpar season, John Harbaugh goes, but he's also coached that team for like a decade, more than a decade. Like the Bears, maybe you get the Bears
maybe the
job.
Bears,
If
Jaguars.
like, yeah, maybe the Bears or Jags, but like, is that a better situation than what you've been offered here? Like, I don't know. Like, is the Bears job better than the Commander's job?
It
Is
depends. It
it
depends. It
you
really
know
depends, though. A
like
better roster for sure. What are they gonna do after, what are they gonna do in the draft? Maybe they go after Harrison. Maybe they get Caleb Williams. It might be a better job in the future. Even
the
looking at the
Giants
Jags, you got
maybe
Trevor Lawrence, you got Cowboys, possibly Mike McCarthy. And one of these days he's gonna be out of there, I think. You just never know. You said the Giants,
the Giants
maybe the Giants, maybe the Buccaneers. I'm
the
just listing teams like
Steelers if
maybe
Tomlin is done.
uh
But like, what do
the
those
Saints.
rosters have?
I think the
Like
Bear. I'll say this. I think the Bears. I think the Jags have Trevor Lawrence, depending on how you feel about him. Cowboys. I think it's a good roster.
Cowboys
Some
maybe.
stuff to work there. Yeah. Bears. I still think it's a good roster. Had a really good second half of the season, like a really good second half of the season. They have some weird contracts that make me nervous about long term stuff, but it's still a good roster that improved.
But like, let's say that all those jobs open up. There's no guarantee that you're still going to be the hottest thing on the market.
That's true. That's
You
also true.
know,
The other side
like
of it.
another good, like a good offensive coordinator comes out of nowhere every year. Did we know who Mike Macdonald was last year? Obviously, he was a DC. Like we knew who he was, but like he wasn't this hot of a hire. So like, did we know who Sean McVay was? Did we know who Mike McDaniel was? Like, no one knew who those guys were. Did we know? Like, so like, guys come out of nowhere all the time. So to sit here and be like, yeah, there'll be a job next year, I think that's crazy. Like unless you really believe that like the Lions have a shot. But like, just to double back real quick, that first place schedule means that they also have to play the winners of the NFC South, AFC East, and NFC East. So that's Bucks, Bills, and Cowboys. Like their schedule is tough. Like I'm looking at the teams right now. I'm gonna tell you a team. You tell me if the Lions are locks to win. Packers,
No,
no. Vikings,
nah,
no. Bears,
no, no.
Rams, Seahawks.
As constructed, no. Probably no to most of these teams,
There
honestly,
hasn't
as
been an easy
constructed.
game yet. Seahawks,
No.
Jags, Titans. Maybe that's the easiest game there.
Jags and Titans.
Those are all their home games. Packers, Vikings, Bears, Rams, Seahawks, Jags, Titans, Bills, Bucks. Like those are hard as fuck. Away, Packers, Vikings, Bears, Cardinals, Texans, Colts, Niners, Cowboys. Like they have maybe 4 or 5 easy matchups.
It's it's
Like
gonna be tough.
it's
And
gonna be tough.
it's gonna be tough. I don't want to discredit them though, even in the process. Like he's still a great play caller. Like he'll be there. He should be there. That's still a great play caller next season. They have a lot of great weapons on offense. Hopefully they can get a leap from Jamison Williams. I think if he takes a leap in that offense can go to a whole other stratosphere. I do question sometimes if Goff can completely take advantage of his skill set. Um, but also Jamison Williams needs to take a leap. Offensive line's amazing. You got a two-headed monster in Montgomery and Gibbs. Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably one of the best tight ends already in football. Laporta, like you have a really good structure within that offense and some really good building blocks. It's a defense that really needs to improve. I think you have a really good defensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn, but can you get another guy to come off the edge with Aiden Hutchinson? They need another one of those. You need your one of your first round picks from last year, Jack Campbell, to take another leap to really, prove why you took him in the first round in the first place. You need a lockdown corner, maybe a safety, depending on what you do with Gardner Johnson. Like there's a lot that needs to be improved on that defense that can only help out their offense. So like they're in a weird spot right now. We talked about their offseason possibly being a nightmare. They need to decide to come back, but I do think they have some pieces on the offense to continue to do what they've been doing. It's that defense that needs to take another leap, especially. And Dan Campbell with his game management needs to take a leap itself.
Well, and so yeah, I never thought we would ramble about the Lions, but here we
Yeah,
are, 38 minutes deep talking about the Lions.
be like that.
It'd be
Good
like
team.
that.
Good
Yeah,
team.
good, yeah,
Gave
good
gave
team.
a gave the 49ers
A
fits.
run, get run for their money.
Brother. I know like obviously they're up 21 24-7, but it
Mm-hmm.
gave them fits on both sides of the football, which I think says a little bit more about the 49ers, and I think they've taken a dip on both sides in some parts, but again, like they made them work for it for sure. So it was a really entertaining game, really good game. I wish they would have finished it out, of course, but it doesn't always work like that.
By the way, Lakers did beat the Celtics without LeBron and AD. Nothing
That's
crazy.
hilarious.
Nothing crazy.
You remember
Austin
Noah,
Reeves,
who we had
32 points.
on the pod the other like a
Yeah, yeah,
while
my
ago?
God. Isn't he a
Yeah,
Celtics fan?
yeah, he's a Celtics fan. In the group message we have on Twitter, he was like, they said that LeBron and AD were going to be out this tonight, and he was like, bet the house on the Lakers. Well,
Mm-hmm.
apparently should
Yeah, you
have
should have
done
listened
it.
to him. You should listen to him.
Yeah.
He know his team.
He really does though. Like he always calls it. Like he just knows. I think that when they almost lost to that Pistons game, something like when they're close to breaking the record or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. He almost called it at that point too. He knows.
Um, so moving on to the next game, we have Ravens, Chiefs. Chiefs win 17-10. The Ravens do not score. I mean, the Chiefs do not score in the second half. Ravens offense couldn't get anything going. Two really tough plays by Zay Flowers. He got the taunting call, obviously. I believe it was on like L'Jarius Sneed. And then he also got the touchback, fumbled to a yard short of the end zone because he fully extended to try and get in, which is obviously not the greatest thing to do. But, he is a rookie. He is young. He was trying. The adrenaline was flowing. Like
Yeah.
I don't necessarily totally blame him. Like I get it.
Yeah,
But
that's what I put in my notes. I don't blame him completely at all, but
yeah,
it's
like just
it's
a
an
tough,
amazing play from Snead.
tough, a
Amazing play.
great play. Great play. Crazy play. Travis Kelsey. I mean, listen, man. He's must reach the point where he just doesn't care about the regular season. And like I was listening to the New Heights pod, and even he was like, Listen, man, it's tough to get up for a random game in November when you know you're about to wax the team. I'm like, all right, so my boy just wasn't trying. I'm like, he still got it in him. I'm trading him in fantasy, but like he's just not trying in the regular season no more. I get it. He went 11 for 116 in the TD, caught the TD on Kyle Hamilton. Like it's just,
A work of art, my
yeah,
dude. That the pass, the catch, that was
it was like an out and up, and he just kind of caught it like
back,
late hands, turn
back
around,
shoulder,
back
like
shoulder, tough,
beautifully placed. It was great.
tough. Um, And yeah, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. No team has gone back to back Super Bowl champs since the Patriots 19 years ago. The Chiefs are 1 win away from doing so. Lamar now has a 2-4 record in the playoffs. Odell Beckham is absolute dust. Um, and yeah, I just want to know what was your thoughts on this game, bro? I said I would never pick against Patrick Mahomes again if they won this game, and
Yeah.
I promise you, I never will. Anytime we come on here and talk about the Chiefs, hey, I'm a man of my word, man. So, what did you think about the game?
Yeah, I wrote down a few notes and I talked about it last week. I did talk about Baltimore needing to establish a run, really take advantage of that Chiefs defense, maybe some QB runs in there, and then also the Chiefs needing to maybe establish a run themselves, but also spread it out a little bit. And I think we saw a little bit of it, but also the opposite for the Ravens. I don't think they established the run at all. It was kind of weird that way. So I'll kind of read off my notes and what I saw just a little bit for you. But I think Spags won this matchup against Munkin. His defense created pressure, sent different looks at Lamar, and the pass game was consistently, out of sync, even with some of the big plays that we saw. I wish Baltimore would establish a run a little bit more, but they kind of play like they were out of it sometimes, like out of the game, like it's like kind of like rushing, like they need to get back into it, even though they were only down 17-7 at one point, 14-7, whatever the case was. They played like they were down 28-5 or 28-3 or something like that. I don't know why I said 28-3. It makes mine reminds me of the Super Bowl. But it wasn't. I don't think it was Lamar's best game. I think he had some opportunities to cut it close, but he really just wasn't in sync. He wasn't comfortable in the pocket. He was. You know, there
He
wasn't a
looked
lot
a
of
little bit indecisive. Like
he was very indecisive in the pocket. He wasn't seeing it clearly, and he was kind of wasn't he just wasn't seeing it clearly. Like the Chiefs gave a lot of different looks at him, and he just wasn't always decisive. Wasn't always confident in what he was going for. Even some of the throws he did make and was decisive on, like he missed. We didn't see the same Lamar that we had seen, I think, at the same level, all season. So it's kind of weird to see that from him. I do think he still has some strides to take as a quarterback, honestly, when it comes to managing the game. So I think I put this in my notes somewhere. I think he is a phenomenal. If you go back to Cam Newton's comments, he's an amazing game changer. Like he is going to change the game completely. He's always going to give your team a chance to win the game, right? But I think it's the game manager aspect of his game that does need some refining. So I think getting more command of the offense, having more answers against the blitz, which can be it can say a little bit more about Munkin in that case, but who knows? But he needs more command of the offense. He needs to be more patient. He needs to know when to take those big shots, when just to dip it down or dunk it down. He needs to even go through more of his progressions a lot of the time. Like I think he can read. He's shown it where he can read a full field. He can do the full field read. But sometimes even getting to that backside dig where you got an OBJ who's wide open a few times throughout the game and he never gets it to him. He either checks it down or he's taking off to run or he's like trying to create a little bit out of nothing. But the reads are there. So I just feel like he has a little bit ways to go as far as developing into a pocket passer. Just going a little bit more with the notes. Baltimore as a whole, I think they faltered too much and made life more difficult on themselves. Wasn't just Lamar. It was Zay Flowers. It was Roquan Smith. It was Clowney. The pass protection was poor. That offensive line could not block the Chiefs very well. They were confused. Different looks. Spags backing people out of there, bringing a lot of people to the line, sending different blitzers here and there. Justice Hill was terrible in pass pro as well. Like it did not help out Lamar even then. The play calling and then also just establishing identity was not good for the Ravens. And then on the Chiefs side, I think they were surgical. Like Mahomes and Andy Reid were methodical. A lot of amazing drives, a lot of diversity on both sides of the football. Mahomes and Andy Reid did a great job taking advantage of what Baltimore gave them. They were patient. They established the run game, set the tone. Even if the run game wasn't efficient, they had tough runs and they kept going with the run game. RPO screen game was amazing. Always took advantage of Baltimore in those looks, and then were rarely behind the chains ever. They were always usually in like really manageable distances, like, you know, 3rd and 2s, you know, 2nd and 6, or whatever it was. They were always a manageable distance. And then the Chiefs were always the aggressor from the very beginning, even at that point too. So I just think there's a lot to take away from this game. But at the end of the day, I think Mahomes and Andy Reid, they play like a team. The Chiefs, they play like a team that has been there before, and the Ravens basically play like a team that's, you know, never been in this situation or hasn't been in this situation, you know, all together at the same time.
Yeah, I think.
That was a
Yeah,
lot. Sorry, it
basically.
was a ramble.
No. I love when you ramble. Basically, just piggyback off what you said. I think Lamar looked pretty indecisive. I think there were lanes for him to run a little bit more, and I tweeted it out like he's trying to, which was this is very baity, but like trying to be Mahomes instead of being Lamar, and like I don't even know necessarily what that means, but like I was going for the likes on Twitter, but it's like I just feel like there were like a couple more lanes for him to run, and he was trying to air it out, which like I get it. Like there were a couple deep throws he missed on that might have been there. I think the Ravens were going for like trying to bait the PIs and just weren't getting it. Like I know Isaiah Likely was trying to get the PI on that pick in the end zone, even though he was like triple covered, still threw it, called for it open, tried to get
Okay,
the
no,
PI.
real quick on that one. For a split second, I actually think he was open. Um,
He was. He
like he
definitely
was
was.
like Lamar also wasn't looking at him though. Like he read the right side of the field first. So like he read the right side of the field, nothing was there. Thought the safety on the left side was somewhere else that he wasn't. And just like threw it without even looking, basically to see where the safety was.
Blind trust.
Threw it to the just threw it to the middle of the field super late. And at that point he floated it up there. So like if he would have thrown it immediately, if likely was his first read on that play, that's possible he needs to just throw it right there. But also, like I mentioned it earlier, he had a backside dig. OBJ was coming open because that safety went to the middle of the field. But I even think if you know Lamar struggles getting to that read, then you're not even worried about that backside dig.
Mm-mm.
You know, so like at that point, like he was open for a split second, but he was just way too late to make that kind of throw.
Yeah, I also do. I give it to them. I think it was a little bit of PI, but like in those situations, ref doesn't call it. Like you can't rely on that call. Like in that situation where like the game's on the line, it was like 6, 7 minutes left in the fourth. You can't rely on getting a PI there. You just can't be the
Yeah.
play. You know. And so yeah, I think like Lamar's probably gonna get the MVP, 2 MVPs, 2 playoff wins. Like, but like I do still think there's a lot of time for him to. I think because Mahomes has been so successful, like people kind of compare a lot of QBs nowadays to Mahomes, and that like Josh Allen never been to the Super Bowl, lost 0-3 versus Mahomes. Lamar Jackson can't get it done. Joe Burrow lost to the Super Bowl, but it's like these guys are still really young, and like
Yeah.
the talent in the AFC is, especially at quarterback, is insane. And so like these guys, I'm sure they will all have their chance. If like I would say
Maybe.
that I think they will. Like I think at least all of them will reach a Super Bowl. Obviously, Josh Allen's the only one that hasn't. Oh, Josh Allen and Lamar, but like I think all 4 of them get to one. Obviously, Mahomes and Burrow already have been, but like I think at least all 4 of them get to one. Shit
I
happens,
just
injuries
I
happen.
don't know about that, man.
You don't think so?
I don't. You just don't. You just never know. Like so much depends on everything else. Like they're like we can say they're always going to be talented quarterbacks. They're always going to be top 5 quarterbacks for a very long time for like most of their career. But we don't know the other part. So much is about teams. The teams you're playing. Injuries do happen, like you said. Like you just can't guarantee the rest of those guys get to a Super Bowl or
No,
get
I'm
to
not
another.
guaranteeing it, but I'm saying
Or
like if I
but
had to,
you're
I would
betting that all 3 of
I
those
would
guys
bet
get
that
to
all
another
3 of
Super
them,
Bowl.
not counting Mahomes. Yeah, no,
You
no, no.
got
Not
okay. So
saying
we
Burrow
got
gets to another one. I'm saying like at least
okay.
all 4 of them get to one,
Okay.
and
Maybe
2 of them
maybe
already have been to one.
that's true.
So it's really just Josh Allen and Lamar. Like
Yeah.
I think they get to a Super Bowl eventually. But I just think a lot of people's like a lot of quarterback success nowadays is judged on like comparing to Mahomes, and like he's in a whole different stratosphere. Like he's an outlier. Like he's chasing Brady. He's not chasing Lamar Jackson. He's not chasing Josh Allen. He's not chasing Aaron Rodgers. He's chasing the best player to ever play ever. So like I just think to compare quarterbacks nowadays to him is a little bit outrageous, you know? So like
Yeah, we need to stop doing that. We need to stop
yeah. I think like he's on a completely different stratosphere. Like let another start. Does any other starting QB in the league have 2 Super Bowls?
Oh, hold
like
on.
I don't know.
Oh,
Like
right.
after this, if he wins this one, will he have more than every starting QB in the league combined? Like I think that's a
What?
good. I gotta look
Stafford,
that up.
Burrow.
Stafford got 1, Burrow's none.
You said starting, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Stafford. Okay, so it's
None of the
Stafford.
NFC West quarterbacks have one.
It's Stafford.
It's just Stafford, right? Like
It's just Stafford.
it's just Stafford. Like no other QB, no other starting QB has. Nah, that can't be true. No, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a chip.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
You know, Aaron Rodgers has a chip, but
Wait,
like
when? Oh, okay, never mind. I'm just thinking the past few years because he's been to
he
what
hasn't been
six?
to one, you know, but he
He's
has
been to
a
6 straight AFC championships.
yeah.
Brady's gone. Stafford's
Aaron
there.
Rodgers 1-0 in the Super Bowl. I'll
Yeah,
go through the team. I'll go through the teams right now, right? All right. So
go for it.
hold on, let me get a good
I mean, yeah, I'm
4,
looking
8,
at him. Like
12,
it's just.
16. I need a full list of all teams.
I mean, Flacco, I guess, but like he's late
I mean,
starter.
come on, what are we talking about? All right. So Bills, Josh Allen has 0. Tua has 0. Mac Jones has 0. Uh, Aaron Rodgers has 1. Lamar has 0. Burrow has 0. Deshaun has 0. Kenny Pickett has 0. CJ Stroud has 0. Anthony Richardson has 0. Trevor Lawrence, none. Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, Will Levis, none. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has 1.
Yeah.
But he might not. What team is he even on? But okay, so that's 1 between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Mahomes has 2. Jimmy G has none. Well, he does have 1. He has 1 with the Patriots, but he wasn't a
I
starter.
don't
So
think he's a
like,
starter anymore. Yeah, I don't
you
think he's
know,
a
like
starter anymore.
I'm not counting that. But
It's Aiden O'Connell.
he does have 1. Herbert has none. Dak has none. Daniel Jones has none. Hurts has none. Whoever the Commanders QB is, Sam Howell has none. Justin Fields 0. Jared Goff 0. Jordan Love none. Kirk Cousins none. Desmond Ritter none. Bryce Young, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, Kyler, Stafford has 1. Purdy has none. Gino has none. So it's really Stafford, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Jimmy G. But like those are the only if he wins this Super Bowl, he'll have the same amount as every other starting QB combined. It's insane. It's insane. That's insane.
It's
So
too
like
good.
to compare him to like Josh Allen and shit is like cool. Josh Allen's a great quarterback. But like there's nobody we've ever seen that's been Mahomes. So that kind of gets and I also want to talk about the Ravens like going into the offseason, right? Like they have a decent amount of free agents. I'm trying to pull it up real quick, but I know off the top of my head, Patrick Queen is a free agent. Justin Matabuke is a free agent. Kevin Zeitler is a free agent. John Simpson, Gus Edwards, Jadeveon Clowney, Ronald Darby, Geno Stone, who had 7 interceptions, Kyle Vanoy, who had a great season, Nelson Aguilar, Devin Duvernay, Tyler Huntley's a free agent, J.K. Dobbins is a free agent. Obviously, he didn't play for them, but like I think coming into the season, they had really high hopes for him. So like they have a lot of guys that this team will not be the same team coming into next season. And so like and a lot of those guys are on the defensive end. And I don't know if you know or not, but they just lost their defensive coordinator because he took a job at the Seattle Seahawks, baby. And so that brings us to that. Mike Macdonald, Ravens defensive coordinator, some described as the defensive Sean McVay, has taken a job with the Seattle Seahawks. I'm ecstatic. I made it clear, and I'm not moving the goalposts. I made it clear that I wanted Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's weird. I called him a different name in our text, Khalil, but I won't say it here.
Yeah, you
Ben
did.
Johnson's weird. He decided to stay with the Lions. Bobby Slowick signed an extension to stay with the Texans. He got a pay raise. Good for him. Shout out to Bobby Slowick. No hard feelings. I can't wait to play the Lions, though. I tell you that much. I can't wait to play the Lions. And then we get Mike Macdonald, which I'm very, very, very happy about. So they don't have a current. And hey, maybe you hear the way Patrick Queen talks about Mike Macdonald? He's a free agent. We picked him. We picked Jordan Brooks one pick before the Ravens picked Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen comes to Seattle. Who knows? But I'm very ecstatic with the hire. Um, just to talk about that really quickly, I think a big part of that will be who we hire to be our offensive coordinator. I think Mike Macdonald has press conference today. Watched the whole thing. Love the guy already. Youngest head coach in the league. He has already made it clear he is going to call the defensive. We went from literally oldest head coach to youngest head coach. He's made it clear he's going to call the defensive plays, which I adore. Cannot wait for that. But he does need an offensive play caller because that is not his strong suit. I wanted Mike Kafka. He decided to go and stay with the Giants. That's fine. And so we have been interviewing Tanner Engstrand, who is the passing game coordinator for the Lions. If we can't get Ben Johnson, we're going to try and get the guy that be working with him. So we've interviewed him. I'm very excited about that. I'd be happy with that. We've also interviewed what is his name? I want to say it's like Ryan Grubb. He's the Washington offensive coordinator. Yeah, it's Ryan Grubb. He's been interviewed for the offensive coordinator position for us. He's a Washington offensive coordinator. He ended up going to Alabama with Kalen DeBoer once they hired him. And so, like, I think in a lot of NFL circles, he's, highly regarded. I don't really know how that would translate. Washington looked fine, but like they also didn't look great in the national championship. And I'm not a big Michael Penix guy, so who knows. And then
Well,
we
I mean that Michigan defense was
insanely
nuts.
good,
Which
insanely good.
also has some of the same ties to a Mike Macdonald
Because
defense
he
as
was the
well.
Michigan DC baby.
Yeah, so like, it's different.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's gonna be different. I'm telling you, I cannot wait to play Ben Johnson. I'm waiting. I hope we play the Lions, man. He gonna rue the day he ain't take this goddamn job.
That's funny.
And so yeah, I'm excited about it. Can't wait to see who the OC is. I'm happy with any of the guys I just named. I did not want Chip Kelly. I don't want none of those guys. Commanders got Dan Quinn. Good, best of luck to you. Yeah. So if
All right.
I do not stop it, Khalil.
Chip Kelly will be
I
all
want a
right.
young brother. I want a young brother, T. Martin, the Ravens QB coach. I'm happy
Mhm.
with him. Bring him over. I don't care. Just give me something new. And so yeah, Mike Macdonald isn't the only person the Ravens lost. Also, they lost Denard Wilson, who was their DB coach, I believe.
Yeah.
He is now the defensive coordinator of your Titans. So they promoted um Zach Orr, who I believe is their linebackers coach, to be their
Right.
DC.
Yeah.
And yeah, their defensive line coach Anthony Weaver, he was also getting head coach, interviews. I believe he was a finalist for the Commanders job. He may or may not come to Seattle to be our DC. Who knows? But yeah, I think to get a person to take our DC job, knowing you're not going to be calling the plays, is a little bit tough, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm very happy about it. How do you feel about the DC hire for the Titans?
I don't know too much about it at the moment. The fact that he's coming from the Ravens, that secondary, obviously, top of the line secondary, working with a lot of good, great players. Even seeing Geno Stone have the season he did. You got Kyle Hamilton, the freak of nature he is, and even some other good DBs over on that side. So it's a really good, it's awesome to see that kind of hire. He also worked with Mike Macdonald. That's great too. Just helped really elevate that defense. So I feel really good about it. You love to see hires like this, and the Titans are, I think, heading in the right direction. I mentioned it already, but like coaching staff, that was going to be super important. See who Brian Callahan brought in with him. So I think it's heading in the right direction. Of course,
What in
we'll
his
see.
pops?
Yeah. Even bringing in Bill, so like we're heading in a good direction because our offensive line was terrible last season, but it's a good spot to be in so far. We'll see free agency, what Rand Carthon does there. We'll see the draft, what he does there, what directions we go in, because we have a lot of different needs. But man, I'm happy for the moment. I just
Yeah,
can't wait to and get
We're
to
both
the.
happy, man. I saw Ravens fans legitimately like angry that they didn't fire John Harbaugh and hire Mike Macdonald.
Man, it's
So,
so weird to
so
me.
I was happy. I'm like, listen, if Ravens fan believe in this man that much, he gotta be the real deal. You feel me? So I'm happy with it. Um, because like Harbaugh's 12-10 in the playoffs, so like he's not like he has this insane playoff record, but like he also did bring them a chip. So like he does get a little bit of a leash
Yeah,
there, and they are consistently competitive. So I think
it'll
that's
be
about it.
it'll be wild to see what McDonald does with that defense already, and then hopefully you all can really attack the draft in the right way, bring in some pieces there. We already talked about it. Like edge is a huge part of it. Um, Bringing in maybe another linebacker, safety, D line, whatever. I mean, there's a few needs, but some really
Yeah.
good building blocks. I'm
Yeah, no,
excited.
I think he does a great job getting like the most out of players who haven't necessarily played to their potential so far in their careers, if that makes sense. Like I think he'll get a lot out of like a Boye Mafe and Derek Hall, guys who like we drafted to be real game changers and just haven't really been that so far. So like that's what I'm excited about. His scheme, like apparently he schemes to player strengths. And so like they
Yeah.
have the opportunity to take advantage of that. You see a bunch of players on the Ravens had career years. So I'm excited for him to bring that to Seattle.
Witherspoon is gonna he's gonna use Witherspoon.
Oh
Like
baby,
it's gonna be.
he's already in
I
the
think
Pro
it.
Bowl, so we can only
Yeah,
go up.
I think it'll be similar to like a Kyle Hamilton way of using them, just like it's just in different ways, not
We
exactly
teach
playing
Tariq
the same.
Woolen how to tackle. Hey, we got a good little duo. We got a good little duo.
I'm excited.
Um, but yeah, that kind of wraps about Ravens talk. I did want to go last thing before we do a little Super Bowl preview. How legitimate do you think the Mahomes GOAT talks are? 6 years as a starter, never missed an AFC championship game, undefeated in the wild card and divisional, two Super Bowls MVPs, could be three. Him and Kelsey have the most playoff TDs by any duo, 14-3 playoff record. Two of those losses are to Tom Brady, though, one being in the Super Bowl. Which I tweeted this earlier, like a little bit a while ago. Like for now, people don't really bring that up because it's like, oh, the Tom Brady got 7 chips. He's need a couple more. But when Mahomes gets there, like if Mahomes really gets like 6 or 7, I promise you, it's going to get nasty. When players be like, well, he played Brady twice and Brady beat him both times. So like him not being able to get one off on Brady is definitely going to be a nail in his legacy. But no one brings it up now because like it still feels so far away.
Yeah, I responded to that tweet too because I'm not letting D Ford off the hook when it comes to that. I'm just not. He's not going to be forgotten in that part of Mahomes and the Brady legacy conversation there because he ruined it. He ruined it.
He did. He
That
absolutely did ruin it.
Yeah, so I'm not letting that be forgotten at all. Um, I think Mahomes obviously has a way to go as far as just getting to that stature. I think you can. It can maybe be semantics a little bit if you want to talk about, maybe he's the best quarterback you've ever seen, just as far as a quarterback or most talented, whatever it looks like, greatest, however you want to define that, like GOAT status. Um, it's hard to put him in that category just because of the winning and need to see more of it, just the longevity side of things and seeing what Brady did. But as far as being like the best I've seen or play the position like with talent, uh, the mentality of it, the part of it being a quarterback, the smarts are like coming along. Like he's already like super advanced for where he is, for how long he's been in the league. Like he has commanded the offense, protections. He is patient now. He's smart. He is a master manipulator in the pocket. Like he has everything. He has everything you want at the quarterback position, right? It just you want to see a little bit more out of the career side of things. But just as far as being the best quarterback you've seen, played football, throw a football, like I think that you can say that and not have it be controversial, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's pretty undebate, like not debatable at this
Like
point. Like I think that like the GOAT thing, because you have to take into account like total body of work, legacy, whatever you want to call it. Like obviously he's only 28. He has a way to go. What Tom Brady played to, he's like 41 or some crazy shit like that. Like
yeah.
he still got maybe a decade left in the league. And so like I think that you have to kind of pump the brakes on. But like I think if he wins this next one, like I think it's very easy to say like, oh, he's the second best player ever. and like on a decently good trajectory to get to one. But like pure talent wise, I don't think it's a question. Like I think it's very easy to be like, yeah, he's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen play the position. Like, like, and I'm fine saying that. Like I'm totally cool with that. Tom Brady is amazing, but like I think a lot of people said that like Aaron Rodgers was the most talented player to play the position. I was like, and still consider Tom Brady the GOAT. So like I think we can just swap Pat Mahomes in that in that Aaron Rodgers spot and still consider Tom Brady the GOAT, you know?
Did you see the picture of his body, Mahomes?
Yeah, he's got a little dad bod on him. Yeah, got a little
I
dad bod.
just like as a future down the line thing. Like I hope he takes care of his body, bro.
You think you think he's got a little bit of a weight issue?
That makes it was just I was just shocked. All right, I was just shocked.
No, I thought he was a little bit more a rip than that, you know. But also like I don't know. I don't know how he be getting out of crazy shit, but like I feel like maybe he felt like he had to put a little bit of weight on so like he could get out of more, like he could be a little bit harder to bring down.
I guess,
You
man.
know?
Like he's I mean
Also, when
he's
you win the chip, I'm sure you have a crazy off season. So like,
yeah. Like he's just good enough as an athlete, obviously. Like even just based off the way he looks, but like it just shocks me. That's all.
yeah, no, I
Um,
mean, I don't blame you. I was also kind of like, oh, I thought he had a little bit. They had a little bit of ab to him, but no, I respect it. You know, I respect a little bit of dad bodness. That brings us to our Super Bowl preview. Like we said, we're not going to give the picks until next week because, you know, we got to iron it out. It's still a lot of time to go. But we do have a, 2020 Super Bowl rematch of the 49ers Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs ended up winning the last one for Pat Mahomes' second ring. No, first ring. First ring. Second came against the Eagles last year. But yeah, bro. Kyle Shanahan, I realized this today. He's been involved in the two biggest blown leads in Super Bowl history because he was the OC of the Falcons in the 28-3 game. And the Chiefs, 10-point deficit in the fourth to come back and win in the
crazy.
2020 Super Bowl. He was the head coach of the Niners. So, you know, Kyle Shanahan's got a little bit of a problem finishing the job. So we'll see if he can do it here. Obviously, Mahomes playing for a legacy, Kyle Shanahan trying to get a ring, Brock Purdy going from Mr. Irrelevant to Super Bowl champion, maybe Super Bowl MVP, who knows? Travis Kelsey going for maybe greatest tight end of all time status. Andy Reid trying to cement himself as one of like 5 coaches to win 3 Super Bowls. So, you know, a lot on the line for both teams. But what do you think about the matchup?
Man, yeah, you just talk about storylines. And I'm thinking about the matchup, and I don't want to get too deep into it before next week's pod, of course. But I'm just thinking about like what the game plan is going to be for both squads. You know, that defense over there. I just talked about it a little bit with the matchup with the Ravens, but Spags is like he's a madman on that side of the ball. You know, the different looks he provides, what he does pre-snap, post-snap, pressure he puts on the quarterback, putting guys in really good positions to succeed. That defense is very well coached, always prepared. They play super disciplined football, even if they're not great in the run game. Like they still find different ways to help themselves out, and still got some game changers on that side of the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that against a really good squad that can run the ball. Of course, I don't know if Kyle will stick to it, but it'll be interesting to see what they do and what they choose to give up at that point. We already know that secondary is pretty special. You got Snead leading the way there, but also got McDuffie, some other guys, Justin Reed. So we'll see what they do. And then also on the offense side of the ball for the Chiefs, man, like I don't, based off what we saw out of this Lions game against the 49ers, I don't know what the defense is going to do against the Chiefs. I just don't know
Ooh,
because you got a better play caller, Andy Reid, right? Already. So if Ben Johnson's scheming up all this stuff against the 49ers and you got Golf being able to
is
execute
that a
most
hot
of it,
take? Is Ben Johnson a better play call than Andy Reid? Maybe.
oh, I'd say Andy Reid's better.
Oh, maybe Ben Johnson's better. I'm playing. I think Andy Reid's better too.
But
Fuck Ben Johnson.
if you got a better play caller and then also the tremendously obviously a better quarterback in Mahomes, and you already see what the Lions did. And there's a lot of people open. They had a lot open for them. Run game is really nice. We already know the Chiefs have a consistent run game. Pacheco really changed their offense. Offensive line really is really good, especially the interior guys. Like it puts a lot of pressure on that defense. and we already know Mahomes is Mahomes. I don't know what they're gonna do there. They can't cover very well. They can't do man very well. The zone is just gonna get if you zone up Mahomes, it's not gonna be a good day for you. So I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to be able to get pressure on Mahomes. They're gonna have to really take advantage of those offensive tackles on that side of the ball. So Bosa, Chase Young, those guys are really gonna have to show up to I think for the 49ers to win, of course, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see the matchups. I'm pretty excited for it. Even though it's a rematch, some people didn't like it. I think it's gonna be a really good game.
Yeah, I think, like I said this in the 49ers Packers preview did a while ago. Like they really do just rush forward and then kind of bank on you making the wrong decision. And like when you're playing the best quarterback we've ever seen, who is the best improviser at the position we've ever seen, like I think that's a tough thing to rush forward and then like he will pick you apart, you know? So like
Yes.
and like they can get beat with speed on the outside. And for all the Chiefs is like for all of their faults, they do have speed on the outside. Like Rashee Rice is a speedy guy. I think he might have had the most yards after the catch of anyone in the entire league this year. If not, he was up there. Obviously, MBS, his entire mantra is speed. And then, like Travis Kelsey's not a speed guy, but like he finds the holes and zones. Fred Warner, Travis Kelsey, going to be a great matchup. And so yeah, I think that the Chiefs are I think the Niners are going to have their hands full. Like I think Jordan Love and Jared Goff did pretty impressive things, and now you've got to go up against the greatest guy we ever seen at the position. So I think that it's going to be a tough night for the Niners, but they also, they're the team wearing white, and teams wearing white have won like 16 of the last 19 Super Bowls. So, maybe that will be in their favor. When you're playing against Mahomes, you got to bet on shit like that. So that's in their favor.
Yeah, and things have been going their way. Like they've somehow in the past two games have found a way to win, even if you didn't think they were going to win that game. They've looked pretty bad in some aspects of the game. But they've always found a way to pull it out in these past two games. So maybe they do. Maybe luck is on their side. But I think the Chiefs are kind of in that same situation based on the regular season they've had, and then just being able to flip a switch and be a completely different team almost here in the playoffs. So it'll be a fun matchup to see what happens. I don't know what they're going to do with Travis Kelsey. I know you talked about Fred Warner, but like I don't know if I don't know if the 49ers scheme that way though.
No, I
Like
don't think they do.
yeah, so like the Ravens, it's gonna be like a game plan specific type of thing. Like Kyle Hamilton shadowed Kelsey for most of the game. Like
And
he
he
was
still
man
did
on
what he wanted to do.
yeah, like
You know?
I would love to go back and look at to see how many of those catches, all 11 catches and targets were on Kyle Hamilton, but still like he was on him for most of the game. I don't think 49ers do stuff like that. And
No.
maybe they should and work on I don't like their scheme, of course, but maybe they should, but like I don't know what they're gonna do against that passing attack. I think the Chiefs are running the ball just good enough, physical enough. We already saw the 49ers struggle against the Lions, who have a great run game. So like I just don't see I just don't see how they win this game unless that pass rush is like special. And they
Yeah.
have not been special this year. So
They haven't. Chase Young doesn't even want to tackle. So, it's it'll be hopefully a good matchup. We'll talk about it more next week. We give our official picks, but yeah, I think that's it for the episode. I think we kind of
that's a little bit too much of what I might pick next week.
I mean, you definitely did say I don't see how they win, but
I
who
well, I'll
who
do a little.
knows?
Who knows? I'll do a little. Well, I mean, we've already said we're not betting against Mahomes again, so
I mean,
I
I've
don't
made it
know.
clear that I'm
I
not
don't
picking
know.
against the Chiefs.
Like
So.
I'm tired of doing that, but we're gonna get a little bit more, hopefully detailed into it a little bit
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I
Wait,
don't
we're
know if
gonna give more reasons than it's
yeah,
Mahomes.
I don't know if I don't think I'll look back to 2020 matchup, but just like we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
we're keeping it vague. Maybe we'll
But
change our mind.
it'll be a good pod. It'll be a good
Yeah,
pod next week.
yeah, it'll be a good pod. And so, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Run It Up podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version, follow us and subscribe on whatever you're listening to. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Share with your friends, family, all that good stuff. Follow us on TikTok at the Run It Up Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. You can find me on Twitter at Najee Adams _ Khalil on Twitter at Balil44, and Justice on Twitter at JReed _ Everything will be in the description. I hope you guys have a litty day, a litty night, a litty life. And just like we do in every episode of this podcast, make sure y'all go Run it up.